Hello and welcome. This is TVC News at 10, reaching you live from our international headquarters in Lagos, Nigeria, where we're tracking events around the globe. Let's begin in the United Kingdom, where a few hours from now, the state funeral of Queen Elizabeth II will begin. United Kingdom has observed a national minute silence to allow people reflect on the life and legacy of the Queen. Today is the fourth and final full day that the coffin will lie in state in Westminster Hall, and thousands of people are taking their last chance to join the lying in state queue before it closes. United States President Joe Biden and First Lady Jill Biden have paid their respect to the late monarch at Westminster Hall, just as world leaders are arriving in London ahead of the funeral on Monday. First Lady of Ukraine, Olena Zelenska, was among other dignitaries also seen paying their respects.
She was the same in person as her image, decent, honorable, and all about service. And our hearts go out to the royal family, to King Charles and all the family. It's a loss that leaves a giant hole. And sometimes you think you'll never overcome it. But as I've told the King, she's going to be with him every step of the way, every minute, every moment. And that's a reassuring notion. So to all the people of England, all the people of the United Kingdom, our hearts go out to you, and you were fortunate to have had her for 70 years. We all were. The world's better for her.
French President Emmanuel Macron also paid his respect to the late monarch. He was joined by presidents, prime ministers, and royals from around the world. Among those seen entering the palace were Irish President Michael de Higgins, UK Prime Minister Liz Truss, New Zealand's Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern, and Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Also, Nigeria's Vice President Yemi Osinbajo is in London to represent Nigeria at the funeral of Queen Elizabeth II. Professor Osinbajo departed the country on Saturday to join other heads of state and foreign dignitaries for the burial. He will also hold a bilateral meeting with James Cleverly, UK Foreign Secretary. Let's speak now to Associate Professor, Prairie View A&M University, Dr. Solomon Osho. He joins me live from Houston. Queen Elizabeth II has been a constant in a rapidly changing world in the past 7 decades. And many are considering her exit as perhaps the end of a remarkable era in British leadership. Talk to us about what you consider to be her legacies and what the world remember her for.
Well, thank you for bringing me in tonight. It's afternoon here in Texas, Houston. A couple of things. First and foremost, our condolences to the people of the United Kingdom and the family. Queen Elizabeth, she actually reminds us of big personality. She did a lot of good things for the people of Great Britain. She served honorably. She served the countries. She served the Commonwealth nations. She was, as you know, apolitical. She's never involved in politics. So she was remembered for quite a lot of significant things she did for the people of England during the time of war, during the time of peace. Her dad passed away in 1952, and immediately she stepped into the throne, and she served honorably from 1952 when her dad passed away. She was the first monarch to be televised for the coronations. She was the first monarch to be involved in developmental in terms of technology, environment, and all what. And she did well for the nation of England, for the nation of Great Britain. So she served honorably, even during the time of war, even during the time of peace. So it's a great loss to the people of England and to the people of Great Britain and to the whole world, people of the Commonwealth. As you know, there are about 56 nations that are part of the Commonwealth of Nations. As we speak today, over 15 of them still carry the coins in their currencies. So she's been a glue to these nations, to these relationships over 70 years of our monarch. So of a monarchy, and I think she's a remarkable human being. She's a remarkable Queen of England.
Indeed, Dr. Shaw. Speak to us about the mood in the United States where you are. According to the
Yeah,
U.S. president, that there's a special friendship between the U.S. and the United Kingdom. He and his wife, as we
absolutely,
speak. Yes, please go ahead.
absolutely, you're right. The United States and the United Kingdom have a special relationship. As you know, the United States was a colony of Great Britain. So here, over here, it's the same. Just like we have in Canada. Actually, in most of the North American continents here, where we are in Canada, the Queen was still their monarch. King Charles the Third now is still their king, so they still have the English as their monarch. And here in the United States, they still have a bond, a strong relationship. People are mourning. You know, the Great Britain is the strongest ally of the United States. The bond of these two nations is uh, greatly important to these two nations. So over here, of course, there's been mourning all around for the past 10 days. The people, missing that service of the Queen. So people over here find that they found it very interesting. They also found it very important that the monarchy is still imperial, is still with high regard, is still hold to high regard here in the United States, despite their independence from the United Kingdom.
Over 100 world leaders are expected to gather in London for the Queen's burial. In the coming days, the UN General Assembly will also be holding. Do you see any significant collaboration on the sideline of the Queen's burial, particularly seeing how interesting things have, become in the past months, the Ukraine-Russia war, there is global inflation. What do you see play out in the coming days?
Absolutely, that's a great question. United Kingdom basically is the sixth largest economy in the world, for about 3.3 trillion US dollars, the sixth largest economy, with a population of about 65 million. And then when you look at the Commonwealth of Nations, it's about 2.5 billion, twice this population of China, if you look at the Commonwealth. So looking at that, world leaders, of course, have to go in there and pay their tributes and respect to the Queen and then to the people of the United Kingdom. Now, looking at that, there are two aspects. Technically, if you have to look at it, one from the international relations perspectives. Of course, England will be seeing a full diplomatic relations with these nations. So they have to go to England, they have to go to London to show their solidarity with the people of the United Kingdom because of that relationship, international relations. United Kingdom, it's also part of the United Nations. They are part of the whole constant permanent security vote. So that's a big factor. And also the relationships. When you look at international relations, this is another way to go in and show their support and their solidarity with the people of the United Kingdom. Now, when you look at other nations like Africa, about 8 presidents from African nation listed to be in London tomorrow. Of course, Professor Yemi Osinbajo is there already. So this is to show yet that we are republics, but we still have a strong tie with the United Kingdom.
Absolutely.
When you look at places like Ukraine and Russia, where there is war going on, I believe the president of Ukraine is slated to be there tomorrow, but of course, Vladimir Putin is not invited because the United Nations and United Kingdom has just put imposed a sanction economic sanction on Russia. So I think the Russians are not invited. I mean, Putin is not invited, and also Venezuela, and Syria president is not invited. About 5 or 6 head of states from those regions were not invited because of the war.
Indeed, Dr. Osho, and we expect to see a lot of sideline interaction across nations take place, even as they gather in London for the Queen's Barrier. Associate Professor, Prairie, A&M University, Dr. Solomon Osho, thank you for talking to us on the news tonight.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.